Hello, everyone. My name is Francis Donald, and I'd like to welcome you to this Cancer Pre-Full Moon webinar. Michael, who is rapidly recovering from a respiratory infection, sends his love and best wishes. Michael also sent along this statement on cancer, which I'd like to read. The sign Cancer can represent the one humanity as an harmonious and integrated kingdom, the fourth kingdom, and the fourth sign of the zodiac. Humanity is meant to be a vessel for planetary light. We are still very far from that possibility. We need to develop the necessary loving understanding, which will bring us together as an integrated personality transfused by soul energy. There is insufficient expression of compassion in the world. The wholeness of humanity and of the planetary life is simply not understood by many leaders of nations, thinkers, and by the masses. We can do something about this if we speak up for the perspective advanced by the ageless wisdom teaching. When we meditate upon the mantra for Cancer, I build a lighted house and therein dwell, we must, of course, think of the degree of integration and illumination which characterizes us as individuals, but even more importantly, we must think of the billions of human beings and how their present relations, however discordant, can be redeemed and aligned under the law of right human relations. We need light to pour through the personality of humanity and soul light to descend into that personality from the one soul of humanity. At this time of world discord within the human race, let us work towards creating the one humanity here on earth, even as the soul of humanity is one on the higher mental plane. Much of what Michael describes is true because at this point in its development, humanity finds itself midway between mass consciousness, represented by the sign Cancer, and Aquarian group consciousness. DK tells us human beings stand today at a midway point, generally speaking, between these two states of mind, though perhaps it might be more correct to say that a fairly large minority are becoming group conscious, whilst the majority are emerging out of the mass conscious stage and becoming self-conscious individuals. Those who are mass conscious are, as we've so often seen demonstrated, easily swayed by public opinion and thus by social and political leaders. This accounts for much of the divisiveness in the world today. It's kind of the shadow side of Cancer. It's interesting to note in this regard that the United States, with its second-ray soul and sixth-ray personality, is a Cancerian country. Cancer is ruled on all three levels by Neptune, a sixth-ray planet, though exoterically Neptune is veiled by the moon. Though today struggling with regressive forces, the U.S. was founded on principles represented by the Cancerian keywords. I build a lighted house and therein dwell. When we consider the house metaphor to mean the enlightened structure of government and social justice. Okay, we get a sense of the purpose of Cancer's position in the zodiacal wheel of 12 signs from this DK teaching. He says, in Aries, the essential substance of manifestation awoke to renewed activity under the impact of divine desire, impelled by the divine breath, by divine life or spirit. In Cancer, this living substance assumed a triply differentiated relationship to which we give the name of life, Aries, consciousness, Taurus, the next sign to Aries, and of manifested duality, Gemini, the sign preceding Cancer. And these three blended together came into outer manifestation in Cancer, thus completing an esoteric quaternary of great importance. Here in Cancer, the first major fusion, inchoate and unrealized, took place. I attempted to illustrate this idea of fusion, of this triple fusion, by means of the triply externalized figure in this image. You could see Aries, in a sense, as that innermost image in the background, and then Taurus, Gemini, as it moves outward, and the delighted house as the integrated whole in Cancer. Here we have Geoffrey's beautifully rendered image, suggesting the upward striving nature of the crab who moves from water to land. TK tells us that this striving is characterized by two sequential keywords. The first is self-preservation, perfectly illustrated by the shell of the crab. The second is immortality, which DK tells us is, quote, the divine aspect of self-preservation. The divine aspect of self-preservation. It's interesting. It is the major conditioning factor in the creative process and leads to the whole revelation of evolution, to the recurrent appearance of life in form, and to the revelation of life in form. Perhaps Geoffrey was indicating this revelation through the pearl and the oyster shell you see there in the foreground. Here's Dwayne Carpenter's illustration of the planetary rulers. DK tells us there's one point which I'd like to make clear, and that is that the two rulers of this sign, the moon and Neptune, in the two rulers of this sign, you have the symbols of a close relationship between the mother of all forms and the god of the waters, that is, between the two planets. In this esoteric marriage, you have pictured for humanity a major synthesis of form and the desire sensitivity, form being the moon, desire sensitivity, Neptune, and consequently a true statement of the stage of consciousness, which we call Atlantean. There's much of this today, and of this stage, mass sensitivity and mass identification with form and with forms is a significant indication and the outstanding characteristic of Cancer and its subjects. Philip Lindsay kind of ran with this theme. So before we get started in our meditation, I'd like to share with you the opening statement from his excellent astrological newsletter for this month, Cancer. He begins, Cancer is embodied by the archetype of Eve, the first woman who gave birth to humanity at individualization. So here she's personifying the moon, right? Hence her symbol of the moon, the builder of the form nature. You see her there leaning against the tree. Eve is also the mind, complementing the third ray of active intelligence, which passes through Cancer. Eve is a symbol of the mental nature and of the mind of man attracted by the lure of knowledge to be gained through the experience of incarnation. Eve therefore took the apple of knowledge from the serpent of matter and started the long human undertaking of experiment, experience, and expression. Eve is the first aspect of the goddess Trinity, Eve, the first, Isis the second, and Mary the third, representing the three levels of the personality: mental, emotional, physical. More commonly, Cancer / Eve is the mother, home and family, emphasizing nurturing, protection, and emotional sensitivity. The home or living space is the foundation or base from where life is conducted, providing an anchored stability to pursue life goals of parenting, family, career, creativity, and interaction with the rest of the community. Okay, so without further ado, um, let's begin. I'm going to have to come out of full screen mode and move my little window over here because it's interfering with the text. Jump back in here. Okay, good. Okay, I'll be sharing with you during this meditation the works of several visionary artists. Okay. Withdraw your consciousness from the personality and its vehicles and enter deeply into the presence of the soul. Feel yourself established as a soul within the field of light, love, and spiritual power. Now, merge yourself as a soul into a deep sense of the group soul. Throughout this meditation, that whole concept of group can be this group gathered here today or the group you feel spiritually most affiliated with. Now, imaginatively unite in soul with the spiritually minded people of the world and with the men and women of goodwill. You may, if you choose, visualize a network unfolding the planet. Now, visualize the group soul merging into the one soul of humanity. Realize that there is no my soul and thy soul. From that center point outwards, deeply realize not is, but me. Now, from that perspective of this central point, imagine a potent point of tension fed by the will aspect of the soul, gathered at the mental unit and forming the foundation of the group antakarana, as well as your own personal antakarana. This is a point of mental tension or intense focus. Now, from that base point of potent tension, imaginatively visualize your dual-colored individual antakarana or rainbow bridge, connecting your lower mind, centered in the mental unit, where we build the base of the antakarana, and stretching upward to the monastic permanent atom, and subsequently connecting with the Buddhic and Atmic permanent atoms of the spiritual triangle. use the color indigo, the second ray color, especially if you don't know your soul and personality rays. Otherwise, use the colors of your soul and personality rays with the soul ray color as you see them here described. This is a process of linking with the intuition. There is no, quote, right way to build your antikarana. What you want to do is reach out and get in touch with the intuitive force and allow the visualization to flow from that. Okay, now imagine your individual antakarana merging with the group antakarana, which is colored with all the 7 colors, but primarily with the deep indigo blue of the second ray, both reaching into the realms of the spiritual triad. So imagine your individual antakarana merging with the group at this point. Attempt to deeply feel this connection. This is the true expression of the rainbow bridge because it includes all the colors of the 7 rays. Now, inwardly and in continued identification with the group soul, affirm the great word of power, I see the greatest light. As you imaginatively project a line of vivid, living, blue-white light into triadal realms, along or across the individual and group antakaranas, from an established point of individual and group tension on the mental plane. Now, in the presence of this great light of the spiritual triad, attempt to feel the presence of the great white brotherhood, the Lodge of Masters, the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. Inwardly and with heartfelt gratitude, offer your salutations to the Masters and to the head of the hierarchy, the Christ. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all Masters. Salutations to the triangle of Masters with whom we work most closely. Salutations to Master Morya, head of all the esoteric schools. Salutations to the Master Kuhuni, next in line for the office of the Christ. And salutations to the Master Dua Ku. Salutations to your own master as you conceive him to be. Salutations to the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. Now let us imaginatively raise our thoughts to Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known, and with deepest reverence and in all humility, attempt, identified as the group soul, to attune with the presence of Sanat Kumara, standing at the center of Shambhala. Now let us sound a warm, silent Om as we imagine the group imbued with his energy. Realize that Shambhala is the planetary center through which the energies of the constellations and the planets initially enter according to the law of assembly, especially at full moon opportunities like this, to be distributed to all sentient beings upon the earth. Now let us enter the disk of indigo blue via the shortening band of golden light. This is the living, moving light. And attempt to enter into his consciousness. That can be through the Master Dwalku, your own master, or a vision of Sanat Kumara himself. Now let us align with the spiritual qualities emanating from the two planetary rulers of the sign Cancer. The moon, the exoteric ruler veiling Vulcan, Neptune, and Uranus, and representing the prison of the soul, of the personality, and the present conditioning of the three lunar lords. And Neptune, the esoteric ruler opening the emotional nature to the influences of love and compassion. Neptune, the hierarchical ruler, imbuing the consciousness with buddhi, intuition, the power of identification, and the realization of oneness. Ponder on the power of the moon, the mother of the form in relation to Cancer. Really, it's the power of Vulcan, Neptune, and Uranus, conveying the ability to build the form, the three personality vehicles, physical, etheric body, astral body, and mental body, in such a way that they may prove fit to receive, contain, and radiate the light and love of the soul. In this sense, it shares its purpose with Virgo through the moon, which is the esoteric ruler. Vulcan builds the physical etheric body. Neptune builds the astral body, and thus through the love aspect connects to the soul. And Uranus builds the mental body. It's a great mystery, this process of veiling, but it forms a function of transforming downwards the frequency of the energies of these three sacred planets, allowing especially the Cancerian or anyone impacted by the moon to receive those energies until they can experience them in an unveiled manner. But here, all three form-building aspects are present in this failing. Though, it's my understanding anyway, that Neptune is the most dominant energy that's being veiled here. Now, in silence, open your consciousness imaginatively to impressions born upon what is apparently the lunar stream of energy, realizing that these impressions really come from a combination of Vulcanian, Neptunian, and Uranian energies. You may visualize the astrological glyph of the moon in the esoteric color of the fourth ray, yellow, as you do so. Vulcan, as a downward pointing arrow, may be visualized in red-orange, Neptune, the trident, in the color rose, and Uranus in the color violet. I would suggest for this that you choose one that feels at this point most impactful in your life and focus on that glyph, and then carry it into your imagination. Attempt to realize the areas in which you and your group or groups are most in need of the Vulcanian, Neptunian, and Uranian qualities to bring your lunar vehicles into the right condition. And then visualizing yourselves imbued with these divine qualities, imaginatively transmit those qualities to your group. You can see the moon here as the form-building principle that then sequentially veils the three aspects of divinity: physical, astral, and mental bodies, first, second, and third aspects. Ponder then on the power of Neptune in relation to Cancer, conveying the power to refine, sensitize, and calm the astral body, rendering it receptive to the love and compassion of the Buddhic plane. Here we're getting into the esoteric rulership of Neptune. In silence, open your consciousness imaginatively to impressions born upon the Neptunian stream of energy. And you may choose to visualize Neptune either in colored rose or electric light blue. Attempt to realize the areas in which you and your group are most in need of the Neptunian qualities. And then visualizing yourselves imbued with the divine qualities of Neptune. Imaginatively transmit those qualities to your group. Ponder then on the transcendental power of Neptune in relation to Cancer, hierarchically considered, attuned with Neptune's power to reveal the all-pervading presence of God in matter form, and its ability to promote complete identification with the heart of life within the form. Realize Neptune as the Christ energy, Buddhi, permeating every form in the lower worlds and throughout the cosmic physical plane. This is the true revelation of Cancer. In silence, open your consciousness imaginatively to impressions emerging from Neptune's transcendent qualities. You may visualize the astrological glyph of Neptune in colors correlated with its monadic ray of Cancer. The second ray of the monadic ray of Neptune, the second ray of love, wisdom. Attempt to realize the areas in which you and your group are most in need of these transcendental qualities, and visualizing yourselves imbued with the divine qualities of Neptune, transmit those qualities to your group. Now, let us raise our imaginative group consciousness to the solar logos, expressing through our sun and the solar system. Attempt to feel that the great second ray of the solar logos, the God of love, wisdom, is pouring through all planets, Shambhala, and every monad, soul, and personality on earth. Now focus your imagination on the constellation Cancer, radiating its peculiar quality of light. Cancer, the light within the form. This is the diffused light of substance itself, the dark light of matter referred to in the secret doctrine. It is the light awaiting stimulation coming from the soul light. Open yourself to feel the energy quality of Cancer, attempting to realize its profound relationship to the third ray of creative intelligence and the seventh ray of magic and order, and also, via the moon, Vulcan, Neptune, and Uranus, to the fourth, first, sixth, and seventh rays, respectively. Ponder deeply on the mantra of Cancer. I build a lighted house, and therein dwell. Now we're going to bring this energy back into the spiritualized personality sequentially from this high place. So let's open ourselves imaginatively and silently to this downflowing stream of energy, starting from the constellation Cancer, downward through the solar logos at the heart of the solar system, out and through the planets Vulcan, Neptune, and especially Uranus, into Shambhala, and thus through each of our monads and all associated monads. Down into the hierarchy, through the great Lord, the Christ, and into and through the ashram with which you believe yourself to be increasingly associated. Through your soul and the group soul of your co-workers. And finally, into your spiritualized personality and all associated spiritualized personalities. Try holding that stream from that highest point in the constellation Cancer, and each subsequent point on that stream intact in your imagination as it flows downward into your spiritualized personality. I mean to say Neptune especially, rather than Uranus especially. Now, while holding that line of descent imaginatively intact, let's sound a silent Om, opening ourselves to the deepest possible impression from Cancer. Now, while preserving our alignment, this line of descent from Cancer, including that of the Antakarana, let us visualize the world situation and the ways in which the energies of Cancer, including its associated rays and astrological energies, can be applied for the upliftment and redemption of humanity and the planet in accordance with the divine plan. This can be applied along any one of the seven rays and any one of the fields of human endeavor, from the arts to politics to the sciences to social interaction. One imbued with the several energies bestowed upon us in the group at this time in the Cancer full moon, with Hands upraised, let's collectively send our blessings into humanity and its consciousness so that it may rise to its new spiritual potentials as promised by the divine plan. Still holding this high alignment, this stream of descent, and affirming them in our imaginations. Let's now sound the great invocation as if in unison with the Christ, the Master's wisdom. Following the great invocation, we will sound the Om 3 times, spreading light, love, and power to all humanity and to all the kingdoms of nature and the planet. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. I would like to end this meditation with a brief healing meditation, and if you would work with me on this, if we could, preserving that alignment that we've created from the constellation Cancer down through the solar logos into Shambhala, through the planets, down into the soul of the group, into each of our soul-infused personalities. If we could surround Michael Robbins with a beam of purified healing light. And again, if you would raise your hands and imaginatively direct this healing light, it can be green, or golden, or indigo blue, towards his form. Okay, thank you all so much for being with us today. And I hope you have a terrific night, day, morning, depending on where you are. Thank you, and goodbye.